Hello everyone, and welcome back to Steins Gate, my darling's embrace. I'm G, and we have an ongoing problem in that we have Kursu's dreams, something about that, about to be broadcast all over Akihabara because of Future Gadget number 14, I want to say? I mean, 13 was also involved because that's the thing that actually recorded her memories, but I believe it's 14 that actually is going to be doing the broadcasting. But anyways, let's get started. A new day. We decided to kick things off by searching for numbers 13 and 14 in the morning, and then meeting back at the lab in the afternoon. You find them, Ocarine? I take it from the fact that you're asking that you didn't. And I take it from your snarky response that neither did you. From the way Mayuri was disappointedly slumped on the couch, it seemed that her luck wasn't much better.
I'm sorry, Ocarine. If Mayushi asked for his contact info, he wouldn't be in this mess.
Don't apologize, it's not your fault.
But...
You look so sad. Isn't there something I can do? Mayuri, what's the name of this place? Say it.
You mean the lab?
No, this is the Future Gadget Laboratory, understand? In other words, we do not dwell on the past as we carry out our research. We look to the future. That's what we do. So don't spend your time talking about what's already done, understand?
Ocarine.
Whoa, once in a while you manage to say something inspiring, Ocarine. What are you talking about? Every word out of my mouth is inspiring.
You talk about the future now, but just a few minutes ago you were desperately trying to send a email to the past.
Well, that's another story. We need to get out of the situation right away. You agree with me, don't you?
Well, you've got me there.
And when you think about it, if we had a working phone wave, this whole mess with number 14 would never have happened. That's right. If we could only send a D-mail, all of this would be... Of course, the fact that I'm thinking of this right now means that our D-mail experiment failed today as well. That's not to say that I regret the past. I'm simply trying to change the past in order to ensure a better future. Meaning that I am looking forward to the future, not looking back to the past.
I swear, nobody can split hairs quite like you.
I suddenly noticed Daru and Mayuri staring at Kurisu and me.
What is it?
What are you looking at, you two? Well, I was just thinking that you and Makisashi are getting along better than before. Excuse me?
To be honest, Mayushi was thinking the same thing. I can't believe what you're saying, Mayuri.
Yeah, nothing's changed. We're arguing just like we always do.
That's true, but still something about it has changed.
Changed? What's changed?
It's like you guys aren't so harsh on each other anymore. You still argue about everything, but it's a little milder.
Yeah, that's what Mayushi was going to say.
I know I said this before, but it's gotta be number 12 at work, right?
What? You must be kidding! It's supposed to help couples. She's my assistant.
That's my line, Okabe, and I would never...
But you must have noticed that the number of electric shocks has been going down, right?
Well...
It's true that the number of shocks we've received while not holding hands has gone down to practically zero. That's just because we know how far we can go without triggering the discharge.
The fact that you know that means that Darling You Idiot is doing his job, doesn't it?
These two... Why are they trying to make Kurisu and I such good friends? Ah, yes, friends. I really don't get it. Kurisu's my assistant. No more, no less.
Anyway, we have to find number 14, and we're burning daylight sitting here talking.
That's right. And since we don't know where the buyer went, we have no choice but to search high and low.
Phew, worst case scenario, we only have one more day to find him. We better hurry.
Indeed.
You're absolutely right.
Only one more day.
Only one more day.
One more day, huh?
Eh?
Wait. Hey, Daru, what'd you just say?
Huh? Just now?
You just said that we only have one day left. What does that mean?
What does that mean? It means the timer's gonna go off.
Timer?
Hashida, what are you talking about? Explain.
What's there to explain? Number 14's timer goes off at 5 p.m. tomorrow. Basically 24 hours from now, so... Huh?
You mean that tomorrow evening...
Number 14 is going to activate unless we stop it?
Hey. What the hell?
He never said.
Didn't I tell you that?
No!
Yeah, that'd do it. I thought I told you guys to go already. Oh geez, my bad.
Can't believe my ears. That's not it. I believe my ears just fine. I just can't believe that nobody ever told me this. How could Daru and Mayuri forget to tell us something so important? Only so much can be attributed to carelessness.
Hold on, there's a reason I said worst case scenario. Even though it is complete, we don't know if it'll work. It still needs to be tested before we can be sure. Besides, Ocarine, I just assumed you would eventually ask me to add a timer so we could make it broadcast automatically whenever we wanted.
That really does sound like something I would ask for.
Doesn't it?
I mean, if we're going to be signal jacking anyway, we might as well. If we want a knowing, official sounding,
for those of you who are watching this video,
sort of effect, the timer is of the essence. Well played, Daru. To know me this completely, you truly are my favorite right arm. However, your ordinarily praiseworthy actions have backfired on us.
Anyway, I set the timer to go off at 5 p.m., exactly 3 days after I'd completed the gadget.
3 days, so that means... Tomorrow evening, the data on that hard disk will be... broadcast on analog monitors throughout Akiba. Of course, these days, even the government is pressing people to switch to digital. There probably aren't many stores that still use analog. But of course, that doesn't mean that they're entirely gone. Just take the TV in our lab, for instance. What's more, there are tons of analog CRTs in the workshop downstairs. Truly staggering number of analog monitors in a mere 10 meter radius. 10 meteor! Yes, there are 10 meteors in this radius. Following that train of thought, Akihabara is filled with junky electronics stores. There may be far more analog monitors than we ever could have imagined.
Oh, but hey, there's a chance that number 14 just plain doesn't work, right?
Of course there is. But it doesn't make me feel any better. What should I do if that's ever shown? Ursu was muttering to herself. Until now, we were taking this pretty seriously, but we still had an underlying spark of optimism. But now, reality had crushed that spark into nothing, and number 14's activation hung over our heads like the sword of Damocles. Kurisu's shoulders fell under the weight of her worries. To me, Makise Kurisu was a female assistant, with the pitiable caveat of being an at-channeler. But to the outside world, she was the hope of the neuroscience community, a girl who at the young age of 17 was published in an American science journal. Of course, even I must admit that her mind is a veritable wellspring of knowledge and theories that often crystallize into grand ideas. Not that it's any match for the mind of Ho and Kyoma, of course, but still. The information created in her head that had to be shared will be exposed to the public. It didn't really register with me when I heard that yesterday, but the more I think about it, the more I realize that this will be a major concern. What's more, since what's in Kurisu's head is enough to make her tremble in fear, it may be something that could bring about horrors beyond the comprehension of the common man. It is not a given that advancements in science and technology will always be used for the betterment of the people. It is very possible for heartless people to use those advancements for ill. Ocarine, what should we do? Mary's voice trembled. But regardless of how much time we have left, our options at this juncture are limited. While it may be like finding a needle in a haystack, we need to locate this gadget.
Yeah, I figured you were going to say that.
Let's go search everything again, focusing on small stores and junk shops. Meanwhile, I'm going to call Rikuko, Ferris, Suzuha, and Mocha and ask them to help. Resonance, it repeats. Once I'd given them their marching orders, Daru and Mayuri bolted out of the lab, leaving Kurisu and I alone. Kurisu still stood rooted in place, looking anxious. We should get moving. There's no use in staying here any longer. She responded, but showed no signs of movement. She's usually so bossy. What's with this timid behavior? How pathetic, Christina. Where's your usual self? What's that? Who cares what happens to this world? Is it not the ultimate goal of every scientist to see their research and theories bear fruit? Don't try to lump me in with you, you stupid self-proclaimed mad scientist. Self-proclaimed? I am Ho-in Kyoma. My madness is universally accepted. Sure, Lamau. Oh, was that you finally admitting to be an at-channeler? So what if I am? If you're capable of being so defensive, then you're going to be fine. Eh? Moping around here isn't going to make the situation any better. Okabe, are you? Don't get me wrong, I just can't stand to see someone else benefiting from your knowledge and intelligence. They should be used solely for the laboratory's benefit. You're a tsundere, I get it.
Silence! If we have time to squabble, we have time to search.
Good point.
She actually smiled a little at that.
Then shall we?
Kirsu offers me her left hand. I look at it and... Let's go! Started walking.
Hey, wait, it's only polite to take my hand.
I went outside and gave Suzuha a call. Hearing that she was nearby, we decided to meet right here. As I waited for her, I took out my phone to call another lab mem. But Suzuha rolled up on her bike before I could. She must have been closer than I thought. She closed in at high speed, but then she maneuvered sideways and skidded to a halt.
Hey, what's shaking?
To cut to the point where I briefly explained what had happened and told her that we needed help.
I see. So basically we gotta find the store that sells the toy that was in the lab, right?
Don't call it a toy, it's a gadget.
So we're looking for a toy called a gadget then?
No, it's...
Yeah, thanks for your help.
Kirsu stops me and offers Suzuha her gratitude. She made a good call. We didn't have time to cross all of our T's. Sorry about this.
It's fine. I was off work early today, so I was just hanging around. I'll let you know if I find it.
I told Suzuha which areas I wanted her to search, and she took off on her bike. It really would be handy to have a bike at a time like this.
Yeah, I agree.
We sent Suzuha off with a prayer in our hearts. Then we visited May Queen.
Yoma!
I knew that she couldn't answer the phone at work, so we came here directly to ask for her help.
No sign of the shopkeep yet.
Is that so? Honestly, that's part of the reason we're here. We have a favor to ask.
Favor?
Yeah, the thing is, having already told her what was going on yesterday, we just gave her the relevant updates.
I see. I never thought things would escalate to this level, yeah.
But that's why we need your help, Ferris.
We know how busy you are, but any help you could offer us would be truly appreciated. Okay, Nyan. You really help us out? Of course, anything for Kyoma and Kunyan. I'm going to be working late tonight, but I can join your search tomorrow. Thanks, that's a big help. Oh, and I'll ask our customers to help too, yeah.
That would be great!
You can count on Meow.
Having taken the time out of her day to speak with us, Ferris returned to work.
She really is reliable.
She sure is. No customer could resist a chance to do Ferris a favor. That might give us a veritable army of searchers. We really lucked out on this one. And we haven't even asked for Rikuko and Mocha's help yet. I should give them a call.
Huh? Aokabe, are they?
Kirsu was pointing at something. I followed her finger and was met with the sight of a red and white Miko outfit. Rikuko and Mocha's with him. What are they doing in a place like this?
Stop staring, let's catch up with them.
Right. We rushed after them before they could escape our sight. Rikuko!
Huh? Oh, Okabe-san, and Maxi-san too. What are you doing here?
That's what I'd like to know. What's with those clothes?
Well, these are... photo shoot.
Rikuko looked towards Mocha's hands. Hands that were holding a digital single-lens reflex camera. Photo shoot, she said. Then this is... Is this what you were talking about yesterday? You accepted her offer?
He-san forced me to.
Wait, Shining Finger? Try as I might, I can't imagine Mocha forcing anyone to do anything. But now that I look at Rikuko properly, the Miko outfit really does suit him. The passers-by don't seem to think of it as anything out of the ordinary either. Well, this is Akihabara after all.
Okabe, isn't there something you should be telling them?
Ah, that's right. I was just about to waste our time on something completely unimportant. I'm really glad we ran into you two. We have a favor to ask.
Favor? You really need our help?
Sure do. I then proceed to explain the situation for the third time in the last 30 minutes.
The world's in...
Oh wait, no, that's Mocha.
The world's in danger.
It's quite possible.
Then that's a real emergency. But is finding the store all we have to do? That's right. Once number 14 is retrieved, the problem should be solved.
How about it? Will you help us?
Of course, I'll focus my search on the other side of Mansebashi.
An email?
I doubt I'd be much help just wandering around stores, so I'll see why I can dig up back at the office.
Mocha.
Okay, the Nukuko and Finger will handle things over there. Thank you both. Not at all. We should help each other in times of need.
Depending on how things go, let me use it as a scoop, okay? Mocha. Oh, now he wants to help. But we do need everyone we can get right now.
I'll overlook it this time. Once Nukuko and Mocha canceled their shoot and parted ways with us, Kurisu and I turned to face each other. I think that's all the help we can get. That's up to us now. You're right. Let's start combing every store we can find, one by one. Roger. It was already 6 p.m. Most stores in Akihabara closed by 8, leaving us 2 hours to search as many stores as possible. That's all we can do at this point. But as long as there's something we can do, we have to do it. Kurisu and I nodded to each other and started our search for number 14. For the next 2 hours, we scoured Akihabara, going from door to door. From the alleyway junk shops to the hardware shop and the radio center. We even checked the major brand name electronics store, as long as a shot it was, in our search for our missing gadgets. But the more we search, the more the horrors of Akihabara begin to mount. Most towns are fairly consistent when it comes to what kinds of stores they have. But the same cannot be said of Akihabara. For instance, you have specialty stores that stick to their genre, such as the Brown 2 workshop below the lab, but you also have chaotic stores that deal in just about everything imaginable. Maybe this place has our gadgets. They probably don't, but, well, it never hurts to ask. Perhaps my mounting agitation is making me think this way. But once those thoughts entered my head, I started leading us into maid cafes and underground idol concert venues. Though there was obviously no chance we'd find our gadgets in places like those. Night fell upon our failure, and we returned home drenched in fatigue and disappointment. Thanks for dinner. As soon as we got back, we took showers one after the other and ate some food. Thinking that instant noodles wouldn't be enough, we got 2 bento boxes from a convenience store. But even that wasn't enough to soothe our exhausted, sun-baked bodies after a search like that. We heard from Mayuri, Daru, Ferris, and Nukuko, but the results were unsurprising. Kurisu sighs, holding her knees to her chest. Christina, I know that this is frustrating, but don't sigh. Just shut up! She stared at me. Why? Sorry, I'm just in a bad mood. It's fine. Happens to everyone. It seems I have no choice. Listen closely and I'll tell you something important that my mentor once told me. You had a mentor? What'd they say? If you give up, the game is already over. Ansai-sensei. Only a real channeler would recognize it that fast. I can't believe you tricked me into thinking you had a mentor only to quote anime at me. Be that as it may, don't you think that those words are fitting for this situation? Well, right now we have to use what time we've got to search for number 14. I try to reassure Kurisu. And myself, to be honest. Don't worry, we'll definitely find it. There's nothing definite in this world. No, I guarantee it. We will definitely find number 14. How can you say that? You can't just say things for no reason. I have a reason. Want to know what it is? She looked at me without a word. I'll take that as a yes. Fine, I'll tell you. Because every member of the Future Gadget Laboratory is helping us out. So what? That's no guarantee of anything. Yes, it is. My hand-picked lab mems are working as hard as they can. Things will definitely turn out okay. Gracie raised her head ever so slightly. That's better. The sad look doesn't suit Christina. Angry and unpleasant is much more her style. Come on, we're going to have to walk around all day tomorrow, so let's call it a night and re-energize. As I stood up, I took my crumpled eye mask off the table. It's practically a courtesy at this point, as sometimes it's not even on when I wake up, but a promise is a promise. I waited for Kurisu to get into bed and proceeded to my usual spot nearby on the floor. Okabe! She called me just as I was lying down. She was rather loud about it, too. Is she mad at me? Tonight, you don't need to. Don't need to what? After a bit of wondering, I assumed that she could only be talking about the eye mask. It's really not that big of a deal, but if she says it's okay, I might as well take it off. I remove the eye mask, put it on the table, and proceed to lower my body. No, that's not what I meant! No? She wasn't talking about the eye mask? You know, we'll be walking all around. Oh my god, I can't speak. We'll be walking around all day tomorrow and you can't get much rest on the floor, right? So what? Could it be? So, tonight... No, it can't be. Tonight you can sleep on the bed. Maybe it can. Did she really just say I can sleep on the bed? No, I can't do that. I'm telling you that it's okay. But you're the master of this room. I can't allow the master to sleep on the floor. You idiot, I never said that I'd be sleeping on the floor. What? And we're going to sleep on the bed together? Huh? Kurisu and I are sharing a bed? That's what I was getting at. It's just embarrassing to say out loud. Well, I thought that might have been what she meant at first. But the idea seemed so far-fetched that my mind simply rejected it. Who could believe that Kurisu would ever ask me to share her bed? Don't get me wrong, I may have allowed you to sleep on my bed, but if you try anything weird, I'm calling the police. Are you really sure? I've told you it's fine over and over already. Don't make me repeat myself. She turned away and lay on the bed with her back facing me. She'd left enough space on the bed for another person to sleep. No. Rather, by opening up this space, she'd added more distance between us. Even if I wanted to sleep on the floor, we'd be over a meter apart, so I couldn't. My decision made for me, I slid into the open space next to Kurisu. My body sank into the mattress without so much as the squeak of a spring. I'd been telling myself that the floor was sufficient, but sleeping on the mattress was like ascending into heaven. I settled in with my back facing Kurisu. How? In the last few days, I'd grown used to being this close to her. But now, even though we're facing away from each other, there's a tension in the air. Okabe, you're so unfair. Her voice was quiet. Unfair is quite an accusation. What about me is unfair? Even though most of what you say is completely stupid, you still sometimes manage to move people. And it's usually when someone's feeling down. That's what's unfair. Completely stupid is a little harsh. Besides, I only say what I think. I don't try to say anything special. And I know that. That's what's so unfair. We were exchanging words that we would never ordinarily think of saying to one another. Are we able to talk like this because of number 12? If that's the case, then maybe Daru and Mayuri were right. Hey, can I ask you something? What is it? Why are you taking the search for number 14 so seriously? You really want to know? Yeah. She was being unusually straightforward. As a representative of our lab, my assistant's problem is my problem. And like I've said before, your mind should be used solely for the advancement of our lab, not misused by some outside group. You're already being dishonest. I'm not being dishonest at all. I'm just giving you one of many reasons. And where are the others? You really want to know? I ask her the same question again. If she says yes, I'll be sure to tell her. Maybe I don't. Oh, okay. Part of me was relieved. If she kept pressing, I doubt that our relationship would have been able to stay the same as it is now. I don't know what prompted me to think that, but something did. Out of nowhere, Kurisu put her hand over mine. Kurisu? Don't get me wrong, this doesn't mean anything. It's just if we stay this way, we can be sure that we won't get shocked and go to sleep in peace. That's true. He gripped her hand. Good night. Yeah, night. You must have been wiped out. Minutes after we said goodnight, I heard her calm, sleeping breath from behind my back. Listening to the rhythm of her breathing, I drifted off to sleep. With the warmth of Kurisu's hand on my own. The next morning, just before the shops opened for the day, Kurisu, Mayuri, Daru, and I gathered at the lab. Okay, so took go searching the Mansebashi area, and Shining Fingers got Ochanomizu. Part-time Warrior says she's going to focus her search around Showa Street, too. Fairies-chan? She said she'd ask around at the stores she's familiar with to get some more information. Therefore, it's up to us to search the remaining areas. Got it? All three of them nodded. They look like they're ready for anything. Very well, then we shall find Knitbjorg. Yeah, Knitbjorg, and retrieve number 14 by 5 p.m.
Honey, huh?
Don't worry about it. Just find number 14, alright?
Okie dokie.
Roger.
I was worried that Mayuri and Daru would have been exhausted from yesterday, but the two left the lab with such a vigor that Kurisu and I sent them off with full confidence. We better get going too.
Yeah.
We've got 7 more hours until our time limit. The hour of our judgment draws closer.
Well, if it ain't Okabe.
Hello, Uncle.
Oh my god, what was her voice?
Hello, Uncle O'Green.
Mr. Brown. We ran into Mr. Brown and his daughter, Sister Brown, as we stepped outside. I'd practically forgotten that they'd been on vacation for the past few days. And now I was wishing they still were. Their timing couldn't have been worse. I didn't expect anything bad to happen, of course, but I didn't want a conversation with them to kill my momentum.
Oh, how'd it go? Did anything happen while we were away?
No, not really. Kurisu and I had been stuck together by number 12 and been forced to scour Akihabara for number 14, but none of that had anything to do with Mr. Brown, so it seemed an appropriate answer.
Say that. Are you sure you weren't taking advantage of my absence and raising hell upstairs?
We weren't, I swear. We didn't do a thing. Right, Christina?
Right.
You sure about that? If you're lying, your rent's about to skyrocket.
Yes, I'm sure. I really, really wanted to, but I couldn't.
What? What'd you just say?
Nothing. Never mind. I didn't say a thing.
Well, fine. You better not do anything crazy now that we're back, though.
I know.
Okabe.
Kurisu poked my back. I imagine she wants me to hurry.
Anyway, I'm off to get all my cute little CRTs flickering back to life. Alright, you see my part-timer anywhere? I told her we'd be back today, but she's nowhere to be found. Hey, Okabe, if you see her, could you tell her to?
Sorry, Mr. Brown, but I don't have time to waste on idle chatter right now.
Huh? Idle chatter? It's important to have a good relationship with your landlord, you know.
Yes, and we can talk about it later. We're in a hurry. Come on, Christina.
Okay.
Hey, I'm not done with you yet, Okabe. Oh, that's right. Last night. Hurry!
Mr. Brown was still talking as we left the Ohiyama building, but we paid him no mind. He had wasted our time. And quite frankly, what Mr. and Sister Brown did on their vacation isn't of any interest to me. If Kurisu and I weren't bound together by number 12, I may have stayed behind and kept him company, but right now, we are as one. We can't waste another minute.
Let's get searching, Okabe.
I'm on it. We don't have much time left. Just like yesterday, we started asking about our gadgets at every store we visited. No store was too big or too small. At each one, we explained what we were looking for, the date it was sold, its dimensions and functionality. By the time we finished, they all shook their heads. We got so used to giving our explanation that we practically started doing so automatically. We checked in at stores we had visited before. We thought that perhaps the staff didn't remember what they had in stock. Many of those who remembered us simply looked annoyed. It didn't happen at any of the bigger, fancier stores, but the more specialized places weren't too happy with us. However, we couldn't just skip them. We entered buildings and visited every little shop inside of them, some of which were selling some rather adult merchandise. I felt uncomfortable visiting those sorts of stores with Kurisu, but desperate times call for desperate measures. The curious eyes of the staff and critical eyes of the customers stared lasers at us, but we continued to search every last store in our quest for number 14. Each time we stepped out of a store, the sun shone down upon us so strongly that I thought I might faint. The repeated temperature shifts from the chilly air-conditioned stores to the hot outdoors may have been physically affecting me. One way or another, I could feel my exhaustion starting to mount. And if I was feeling spent, I could only imagine that Kurisu felt the same way. No, given the female body, she might be feeling even worse than I was. It was after being turned away by shaking heads at our 40th store that Kurisu stopped in her tracks and started to think. It's already 3 p.m. We only had 2 hours left until the timer went off.
Hey, Okabe.
What's wrong? You tired?
No, I'm fine.
I heard the fatigue in her voice. But if she's not going to mention it herself, I'm not going to bring it up.
This is kind of last minute, but I've been thinking about something.
What have you been thinking about, then?
The shop Mayuri sold the gadget to. Do you think it's really in Akihabara?
What?
We've been searching under the assumption that the shop's in Akihabara, but maybe it's not.
Because even though we've got everyone looking as hard as they can, we still can't find it. I just thought we should consider the possibility.
Well, Mayuri said that it was an Akiba.
Is she really? Are you sure about that?
Well, what did she say exactly? Well, we know he runs a store. And even if it's a store quirky enough to sell the gadgets we made, it's got to be somewhere. If we can't find it, that's just not good for business. Unless, of course, it's located somewhere we least expect. Like one of those places that looks like an office from the outside, but is actually a store once you go in. But it's equally possible that we've just been looking in the wrong place. We should check in with her to make sure. I whipped up my phone and called Mayuri. The ring continues. She has to pick up if she's not otherwise occupied, right?
Hi, this is Mayushi.
Mayuri? Good, she answered.
Ocarine, what is it?
She didn't even greet me with a tuturu. She must be really focused on her search. Mayuri, can I ask you something?
What is it?
Are you sure that the shopkeep's store is really in Akihabara?
I'm kinda sure.
A less than confident answer. Not that I can throw stones, given that I couldn't remember what she said to me. Think back. Where did he say his store was located? Did he say that it was in Akihabara? Come on, Mayuri. What did he say?
I feel like he said that he had a shop nearby.
Nearby. That's what he said.
Yeah.
So he didn't say that it was in Akihabara, correct?
Probably not, I think.
I see. Thanks. Continue search. Your search. Good gracious. Let me slur all my words. I hang up the phone and turn to Kurisu. She obviously overheard my side of the conversation, but I gave her a quick rundown of the call.
I see. So he said that he has a shop nearby.
Right, meaning that there's a chance it might not be in Akihabara. A shop nearby. Nearby in this situation being a relative term. A term so subjective that it can take on any number of meanings and distances. For example, if someone who lives in Akihabara says nearby when they're at May Queen, then they're likely referring to a place you can reach on foot from there. But to someone who lives in Shibuya or Shinjuku, nearby could be as far away as Kanda or Ueno. And we have no way of knowing what exactly the shopkeep meant. Still, it's very possible that his store is not in Akihabara. And in that case, it's taken us so much time to search Akihabara alone. 2 hours is nowhere near enough time to expand our search to both Kanda and Ueno. No, with our current search party, it would take us days to cover everything, if that were even possible. 2 hours is nothing. Stunned by our miscalculation, we just stood there hopelessly. Only 2 hours remain. If the store with our gadgets is not in Akihabara, finding it will be impossible.
Okabe, call everyone.
Kurisu's voice was perfectly calm. Everyone? Why?
This search is pointless. I can't make our fellow lab members waste their time. We should call it off.
Call it off? Are you serious?
If the shop isn't in Akihabara, then there's no way we're gonna find it, right?
I had the same thought. But
we should just give up now. We tried our best, we gave it everything we could, and it didn't work out. So let's just...
You've got to be kidding.
Eh?
We tried our best? Only those who fight until the very end deserve to say that.
Okabe.
Besides, giving your all doesn't mean anything unless you get results. I worked hard, I tried my best, but it didn't work out. So what? Those are just platitudes. Effort is nothing without results. It's just meaningless labor. Only the results make it worthwhile. Christina, I'm disappointed in you. What sort of scientist doesn't understand that? Kurisu shot me a vicious look.
But we know that this is going to be a waste of time, so we should cut our losses. You just said effort is useless without results, right? Why is it bad to minimize our wasted effort? We should stop what we're doing once we know that it's pointless, right?
We don't know that it's pointless yet.
We do, we're not just searching Akihabara anymore. We won't find it, it's just common sense.
We don't know until we try. Maybe we'll find it at the next store we visit. There's no time to argue. But our anxiety is only getting us worked up. This isn't good. At this rate, we're going to get shocked for the first time in a while. But I can't give up. As long as there's a chance, no matter how small,
If number 14 activates and something as disastrous as Kurisu describes comes to pass, Kurisu will be held responsible. And I don't say that out of concern for the public. Even if Kurisu wasn't blamed for it, she would have to live with the guilt for the rest of her life. And I can't. You've been speaking in hypotheticals this whole time. If you don't have any concrete ideas, then we should... No, there must be something. There has to be something we can do. I don't have a reason to believe that. I'm just trying to talk back. But still, is there nothing we can do? Something we've overlooked? Something we've forgotten about? What sorts of gadgets did we have? Out of numbers 1 through 9, we've sold everything but number 7, Ghost in the Ball, and of course number 8, the phone wave name to change. We could use the Psyllium Saber if there were a trail of blood to follow. It really is pointless. My thinking was flawed from the start. But I have to think differently. Our new gadgets numbers 9 through 11 have all been sold. But maybe there's something there. Oh, good, Cocoon, if you had this umbrella. Maybe. If you had this umbrella, you wouldn't have to worry about losing it somewhere. That's it. Okabe, are you okay? That's it. I've got it. Or at least one of our gadgets does. Huh? Future gadget number 9, Homing Diva. Ah! We look at each other, and I see hope return to Kurisu's face. I immediately take out my phone and call Daru. Every second I have to wait is agonizing. Pick up! Pick up the phone! Daru?
Ocarine, what happened? Did you find it?
No, but where are you right now? Can you get back to the lab?
Huh? Sure, I'm pretty close, but why?
Number 9, I need you to ping it ASAP. What's the story, Daru?
Just a sec, I'm checking right now.
We caught up with Daru at the lab. Number 9 looks like an ordinary umbrella, but it's outfitted with a GPS so you can locate it whenever it gets stolen or lost. I completely overlooked it. If I were properly involved in its creation, perhaps I wouldn't have, but it's a little late to worry about that now. Still, the umbrella needs to be open if we want to locate it, right? True.
Oh, true.
We can figure out. Yes, words.
But we can figure out each location has been opened in the past, at least. Actually, receiving the data now, and bingo!
You mean it?
Hell yeah, I do. It was last open around noon yesterday.
And? Where did that happen?
It was in Okachimachi.
I almost couldn't figure out how to pronounce that word again. Alright, let's go, Kurisu. Alright. Daru, can you give me its exact?
On it, I'll send it to your phone.
My man! As we stepped out of the lab, we were once again greeted by Tanoji.
Oh, Okabe, you little punk, you left before I was...
Sorry, tell me later.
Hey, I told you to wait.
No, I really don't have time for idle chatter. I took Kurisu's hand and waved down a taxi on Main Street. We have an hour and a half left. Our budget's tight, but our time limit is even tighter. Daru sent me the requisite map info while I was in the taxi. I showed it to the driver and we hurried to the location in question. The store was located in a small alley just a number of minutes from Okachimachi Station. It was a tiny knick-knack store. Even looking in from the outside, I could tell that the place was a mess. Number 14 must be in there. Yeah, for sure. At last. At last this madness will come to an end. What do you mean you don't have it? Well, I had it when I bought it, but it had disappeared by the time I got back here. As Mayuri said, this man had absolutely no distinguishing characteristics. Even his story was indistinct. I brought everything back in a cardboard box, so maybe I dropped it somewhere. Somewhere? Where's that supposed to be? If I knew that, I would have retrieved it already. I mean, I did pay for it. It was past 4 p.m. by the time we trudged back to Akihabara. The shopkeep had taken out the cardboard box to corroborate his story, and all of the gadgets were in there. Except, of course, for number 14. He didn't know we were coming, so it's not possible that he hid it beforehand to throw us off. Besides, what would he get out of doing so? Nothing that I could see, so suspecting him of foul play is meritless. 1 hour left. We only have 1 hour until number 14 activates. and we don't have the first clue as to where it could be. Up until now, our goal was to find the shopkeep, but now we don't even have that much of a lead. If he dropped it somewhere, someone might have picked it up and put it in a trash can, or even taken it with them. Let's ask everyone to return to the lab. Fine by me. Giving up is no longer an issue. Our chances are well and truly dead. I should save everyone a little bit of time. We've totally lost our lead on number 14. The search has been called off. Everyone return to the lab. I took out my phone and sent everyone a message asking them to return to the lab. As I was returning my phone to my pocket, it rang. Suzuha was calling. Oh shit, yeah, we haven't heard from her at all. Hey, Okabe Rintaro, I'm really sorry. The owner got mad at me for being out and about, so I had to come back to the store. It seems like she regrets going AWOL. I was going to call you earlier, but he just kept going on and on. It was kind of mind-numbing, really. Well, if you're already back, that's fine. I'll tell you everything that happened later, so let's keep doing what you're doing. Whoa, hold on. I called you because I have something important to tell you. I was about to hang up, but her words stopped me. Something important? Is it urgent? Yep, the owner told me that he found something under the bench when he got back to the store. He says it might have something to do with our lab. It was on the ground? Under a bench in the Brown Tube workshop? Overhearing that, Kursu grabbed my phone and butted into the conversation. What was on the ground? Are you talking about number 14? Calm down, Christina. What did it look like, part-time warrior? He said it looked like a black box with an antenna on it. That's gotta be it. Suzuha, can you hear me? Go get it right. No, go get Daru first. I couldn't contain myself and took off towards the lab with Kursu in tow, which turned out to be a bad idea. Oof. I ran straight into a man who had stepped out right in front of me. Shit. I'm sorry, I was in a hurry. I apologized right away and made to move past the man until he grabbed my arm. Listen up, asshole. You ran straight into me while I was center stage. You think sorry is gonna cut it? Now that I had a good look at him, I recognized him as the guy-blushed man I ran into in front of Ferris's cafe the other day. This is the last thing I needed. But it's too late to disengage now. Hey, Okabe Rintaro, are you still there? I can hear Suzuha shouting from the phone in my hand. However, this man currently had that arm firmly in his clutches, so I couldn't answer her. Okabe! Kursu sounded forlorn. It was then that I realized we were surrounded by men who looked like dark knights patrolling the streets.
You alright, 4C?
It appears that the man I bumped into refers to himself as 4 degrees Celsius. How could I mess this up? 4 degrees Celsius. That's the most pathetic way to spice up the name Shido I've ever heard. Bookhouse just bumped into me and tried to get away without apologizing. Nonsense, I did apologize. Huh? Call that an apology?
Ain't a real apology until your forehead hits the ground.
That's how you really show you're sorry. It's obvious that we're in trouble, but the people passing us by do everything they can not to get involved. Cold-hearted move, to be sure, but if I were in their position, I would do the same. I really can't blame them. So, what are you waiting for? Don't want to get down on your knees in front of your girl?
Fine by us, we'll give you a hand. Make sure you do it all elegant and proper-like.
Damn it, if only I could use my right arm, I would destroy all of you. I really can't do anything when Kursu and I are bound together by our wrists. Oh, then show me what you got. Are you scared? Ugh. We have no time. I balled my hands into fists and silently knelt down. From there, I dropped my forehead to the ground. Okabe! I heard Kursu above me. What's this? You were boasting a few seconds ago and now your head's on the ground. Hardly elegant, is it? Hey! He tapped me on the back of my head. The more he looks at me, the more he gets into his sick little game. Come on now, is that all you've got? That's nowhere near apologetic enough. How humiliating! But I can't waste any more time. I need to get this apology over with and get back to the lab as soon as possible. I swallowed the words I wanted to say and managed to choke out an apology. Excuse me. Seriously? Excuse me? Is that supposed to be an apology? My words only served to further rile them. They pushed my head into the asphalt. Ugh. Well, do you have something to say to me? No. I need to get through this. Stay strong, Okabe Rintaro. That's enough! A roar echoes above my head. Kursu! He's apologizing to you with his head on the ground and you're forcing him to go lower? What kind of man does that? Damn it, no! I was trying to get through this. Huh?
Oh, what's with that feisty chick?
What's that supposed to mean? I just said what anyone else would, so there.
Hey.
You better calm down, lady.
We're not gonna go easy on you just because you're a girl. That'd just be sexist, and that's not how real men roll.
You know, she doesn't look half bad. Well, forget this miserable loser and come hang with us. We'll show you a good time. Are you complete idiots? Is this what being a real man is all about? Can you call him a loser? You've got to be kidding. He's 100 times the man any of you could ever be. Kursu.
Hey, did you hear that? She said this dog is cooler than we are. Fitting for a bitch, I guess.
Shut the hell up. This guy may have chunibyo, and sure, everything he says is stupid. He's overconfident and rude, and he pisses me off all the time. But even so, he's the kind of man who can stand up for those in need. She's standing up for me. So you stupid motherfuckers have no right to call him a lot. Yeah! Hey, stop! Get away from me! Christina! I shook the hand off my head and stood up. I grabbed Kursu's left hand and pulled her close. Hey, shitbag, did I say you could stand up? Are you alright? Yeah, sorry, Kursu's hands were trembling, and tears were in her eyes. She was really scared. Gah! Okabe! An impact. I've been hit square in the back.
You think you're better than me?
Yes. Yeah. The sharp pain in my back made my vision go red. This is bad. At this rate, Kursu's going to wind up in trouble too. I wrapped Kursu in my arms to cover her. Wait, Okabe, what are you? Just stay still. What?
What, you trying to look cool in front of your girl?
Pain shoots through me. My back, my sides, my waist, hips, legs. Okabe! Kursu wriggles in my arms. Damn it, if I could only use my right arm! I wish I could let Kursu run away from all this.
If you could use your right arm, you'd kick my ass? Is that what you're saying? Only the weak say shit like that.
Gah! I'm sorry, Okabe. If it weren't for number 12, you could have escaped on your own. Don't worry, this is nothing. Ugh. I was nearly knocked out by the pain racing from my back through my liver. Okabe! Stop it! Please stop! Stop! If only. If only. If only we were free of this thing. If only this wasn't on us. If I could just save her. I want to come off. Please come off. I'm begging you, come off. Please. Please let us out. Let us out. Eh? Ah. I heard a tiny beep. What's that sound? Number 12.
Out of my way.
The beating stopped. But when I turned around, I saw 40 degrees Celsius grabbing a nearby signboard. Are you kidding me? If I get hit with something like that, I'm not getting back up. Do these DQN assholes not get that? Curse you, run! What? Don't worry about me, go! Hurry and stop number 14. No, I'm not leaving you behind! 40 degrees Celsius held the sign over his head. We're done for. No! That sound. It's getting closer. It sounds like a car exhaust. And now honking. A big car is barreling down the alleyway towards us. Everyone's screaming, trying to get away. I can smell burning rubber. A limo breaks up the people surrounding us, leaving tire tracks on the asphalt. And comes to a stop right in front of me. The back door opens. Get in! Ferris. Okabe! Before I could move, Kursu took my right hand and pulled me into the back seat. Go! The limousine took off with a squeal, with the door still open. We heard the ugly snarls of the punks behind us, but they got farther and farther away until we couldn't hear them anymore. Are you guys okay, Nya? I'm fine, but Okabe's... Don't worry about me, just a few bumps and scrapes. It was obviously worse than that, but I didn't have time to cry about it. By the way, why were you there to pick us up, and whose car is this? It belongs to a friend of mine, Nya. I told him I had a lot of ground to cover in my search, so he lent it to me, Nya. What kind of friend would lend her car like this? Actually, maybe I should be asking what kind of person she is to have a friend like that. Then Moy and Yan told me where you'd be. So, Shining Finger. According to Ferris, Mocha was nearby when we got jumped. She was on her way to the lab after receiving my message. When she saw us under attack, she didn't know what to do, so she texted Ferris. Ferris, meanwhile, was on her way to the lab in her limo and came to help us out. Our lab members really work well together. Of course they do. Now it's not the time to be getting sentimental. Ferris, we need to get to the lab. I know, we're almost there now. What time is it? I was going to check on my phone until I noticed Kursu's left hand gently holding my right. On our wrists sat number 12. But the bands were no longer snug. And I think that that is a pretty good place to cut it. A lot happened. A lot of different... A lot of development in the relationship between Okabe and Kursu, which is really interesting and, you know, a lot more wholesome than I expected, which is nice. So I'm enjoying this quite a bit, and I hope you are too. But anyways, thank you all so much for following my playthrough of Steins Gate, My Darling's Embrace, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye now.